seconds on the clock of this qualifying session. Back. Holding area. There. Is very. Notice on the cycle. 26 hours. Bell's car. Bell sharing with the car that is my Bell. So what we'll continue to see nice water destination to realise. And MCB series engines. Catering facilities around the campus here. Stands by the side of the grandstands between myself and the chicane. There's another run of stalls to my left near the Law and Reese auction that takes place during the event. And also in the single building, the Thruxton Centre, inside of our corner, there's catering there too. Activities over near the Thruxton Centre, that's where the Super Funk area is. Traffic going out there. Down on the in the centre of the circuit is where the main stage is for the all the music that's going on. this weekend, and a presentation this evening of some disco sets, and also performances of Earthwind for Hire at 7 o'clock, and 9 o'clock beyond again headlines the weekend's activities. That's on the main stage. Fan zone down there has been in operation for last half hour or so. 12:15 Barry Ponting will come on, and DJ Lawrence Van Red. First 3 sessions today at 12:25, 13:15 Louis Slippers, your fancy dress, changing at 2:25, 4:10 Paul Hugh Wilson. Name that tune, competition at 5:25, 2 sets for Lawrence Van Red at 6:30 and 8:30, with Earthwind for Hire in the centre of that. Tomorrow on stage is a line dancing masterclass, Ruby Slippers, 9 to 5 show, Dr. Parton tribute, show ponies, and weird science. So something indeed for everybody. These car painting, real cars, so over there too, and also they will have helicopter Navy wings have flown in with for the aircraft, Bulldog, Chipmunk and Harvard. Greece to that opposite pits. Coming up here next month, which I didn't say, the British Truck Racing Championship. There's the traditional thunder into town, the Convoy Thruxton. British Superbike Championships on August 8th to 10th. That's British Superbike Championship making its annual visit. And then the Classic Sports Car Club comes here on September 20 and 21 for its brand of racing the cars from the 1950s through to present day, so a really wide mix of CSCC. Going for 20 odd years now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Thruxton. It is the Thruxton Retro Super Funk weekend. 2 days of action, 16 races in total. But this is not just about cars this weekend, because we've got classic cars, big top displays, Formula One demos, crazy karts, fun fairs, bouncy castles, fly pasts, food and a lot of live music. Now, the cars on display this weekend and going around the track, it is going to blow you away. You can see behind me here, we've got the Formula Juniors. These are the 50s and 60s precursor to the F2 and F3. To my left, we've got the Midlands Classics. We've also got the Super Performance Ferraris coming up. We've got the Mighty Minis, and we've also got the Jochen Rindt Trophy. Now, the Jochen Rindt Trophy is going to be the highlight of the weekend. That is an incredibly eclectic mix of single-seaters, Formula One race cars from F2 and F3 right through to the 60s and 70s. We've spoken to a few of the drivers already. You'll see that a little bit later. My name is Ewan. Me and John are going to be down here all weekend in Parc Ferme, in assembly, running around the paddock, enjoying the entire festival of motorsport. And Dave Goddard, as ever, is going to be your commentator. So sit back, relax, enjoy the weekend. There aren't many like this. It's the Thruxton Retro Super Funk weekend. Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Ewan Dunlop down in the assembly area. Good afternoon from me, ladies and gents. Dave Goddard here, taking you through the action here at Thruxton Circuit, the fastest race circuit in the UK. But as Ewan has already explained, the Thruxton Retro Super Funk, as it's known this year, is not just about the racing. We are certainly getting the funk out this weekend as we celebrate the 1970s here at Thruxton. 70s fashion and music being celebrated off-track, a whole variety of off-track attractions and a great on-track programme as well. We've got 9 different classes of motorsport taking place this weekend. We're just coming to the end of our final qualifying session before our first race of the weekend. We kick off with the Formula Junior single-seaters, organised by the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association, 50s and 60s single-seaters there. Next, the first of our feature races after the lunch break, the Jochen Rindt Trophy features Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula Atlantic cars celebrating the great Austrian, former Formula 1 world champion, of course. We've got the Super Performance Ferrari Club Classic Series, some very beautiful cars in that one. The GT and Sports Car Cup, a 90-minute pit stop race, a 40-minute pit stop race for the MCR Classic K. Cars running to FIA Appendix K regulations, the pre-66 GTs. And the Hawthorn Jaguars in there as well, the Mike Hawthorn Classic Jaguar Series. And we also have the Mighty Minis coming up later on. 6 races today, another 10 coming up tomorrow here at Thruxton. And for the first hour or so of today, we're live on YouTube before heading into our pay-per-view coverage. Something a little bit different here this weekend, so you can enjoy the full event via pay-per-view from the 247 TV website. Big thanks to all the team at 247 TV and at the British Automobile Racing Club, who are based here at Thruxton, for bringing us the action this weekend. So the checkered flag is just going out on our final qualifying session. The cars we see on track at the moment, the MCR Classic K and Hawthorn Jaguars, just coming to the end of their qualifying session, and we will shortly have cars onto track then for our first race of the day, which is the Formula Junior single-seaters. Ewan caught up with a few of the drivers in the paddock a little earlier on.
All right, today's first race is our first of 2 in the Formula Junior, and I'm sitting here with the pole sitter, Stuart Roach. Now, Stuart's going to tell a little bit about the series and the cars. Now, these are 50s and 60s, a precursor to the Formula 2, Formula 3, but they were incredibly competitive, and there's still loads of them around, aren't there? How do you find yourself in one, Stuart?
I started off racing vintage sports cars with my dad, and then we got a Formula Junior. We actually got the Mark II version of this, which is a front engine car. 1960, and I had a go in that, and then it kind of grew from there. Okay. And I got the Mark IV disc brake one, and then restored this one, and so I like a Lexus cars, really. Yeah.
And you've just told me as well that you were racing last weekend at Nürburgring, and the other one broke, hence you're in this one today.
Yeah, I was at Nürburgring last weekend, and the Mark IV broke actually the rear hub nut sheared, so the last lap and a half, the only thing that's holding the rear brake on was the disc and caliper. I still managed to finish third, which is good.
Nice.
So yeah.
And today, was pole a surprise for you, or where you expected to be?
It's kind of a surprise. It's the first time I've ever driven this car here. It had quite a bit of understeer. I thought the track was quite slippy, so to see the time was actually quite surprising.
Now, we're meant to be about 28 degrees today, summer solstice. I just felt a little bit of rain about 10 minutes ago. Why were you setting the car up?
I just get in and drive it, to be honest, in all honesty. So if it does rain, I'll just soften the suspension off a bit.
Okay.
If it was a disc brake car, then I'd disconnect the rear bar and stuff just to soften it off. But yeah, generally just get in and go.
Fantastic. Well, look forward to seeing it. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck in the race this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Stuart. Right, let's go and find some more drivers in the Formula Junior Series this weekend. Right then, just wandered a little bit further down the Formula Junior paddock and found Chris Porritt here, who's in a very special and very polished car number 77. Chris, first of all, welcome to Thruxton. Tell us a bit about this incredible looking machine.
So I bought this car in 2018 from somebody in Utah in the States.
Wow.
The car was a Pedro Rodriguez driving school car at Riverside Raceway in California. Very easy to say. So yeah, it raced there, and the last time it raced was the 26th of August in 1972.
So today is the first day this car will be racing in, what's that, 50 years?
Yes.
Blimey. And why today?
Because I love coming to Jochen Rindt Trophy here. I've raced my Formula Atlantic here. I'm actually racing my Formula 2 car here as well.
Okay.
So, and I've just joined the Formula Junior paddock, and you know I've got friends who race juniors as well, so it's just ideal opportunity to bring the car out.
I got the impression you had a few cars, so you're racing all over the UK or internationally? What did you get up
to? Mainly in the UK. I race this one. I have historic Formula Ford as well, which I race, and then the Formula 2 car.
And if it goes well today, is it going back in the garage or are you going to see it again?
Oh no, I'll see it again. I'm racing at Alton Park in the Gold Cup.
Fantastic.
And then at Silverstone Classic as well.
And second in class in qualifying. Now, this is, of course, competitive. You're racing drivers, but it's very friendly camaraderie on this grid as well, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Well, the whole meeting is like
Yeah.
that. But yes, it is. It's a friendly grid, for sure.
Chris, thank you for your time. Good luck in the race. Can't wait to see it out there.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, it is time to go Formula Junior Racing. First race of 2 this weekend. Over to your commentator, Dave Goddard.
Thanks very much to Ewan, and we will be seeing the cars onto the grid very shortly for the first of our Formula Junior races, organised by the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association. They were one of the very first clubs to organise historic motor racing, and Formula Junior was the original feeder series for Formula One, really. It was founded in the late 1950s, 1958, by an Italian named Count Giovanni Lurani, a racing driver before and after the Second World War. Johnny Lurani, as he was known, and was concerned about the lack of young Italian drivers coming through to join Formula One grids, with a number of Italian drivers having lost their lives, sadly, during the 1950s, and that's how he founded Formula Junior, effectively scaled down replicas of Grand Prix cars of the time. We've got cars from across the history of Formula Junior out there today. It started in 1958, ran to 1963, and this is how they line up for race number 1. Stuart Roach, who we heard from in the Alexis Mark III, is on pole alongside Nick Carlton-Smith in his Lotus 20. Various subclasses through this field as well, based on the age of the cars, their power units, whether they're front or rear engine, and so on. Second row, Nathan Metcalf, 171, and Ray Mallock, the famous team manager in various forms of motorsport over the years, in the Mallock U2 Mark II, built by his father, Major Arthur Mallock, in the early days of the famous Mallock concern. Row 3 is James Hicks in the Caravelle, number 71, and 23 Adrian Russell in the Condor. Row 4, Alan Schmidt Brabham and Keith Pickering in the Britannia FJ. We heard from Chris Porritt, first time in many decades that Lotus 18 has raced, number 77. He lines up on row 5 alongside Chris Drake in his Terrier T4. Chris Drake, I remember, was a winner a few years ago at the Donington Historic Festival. Row 6, David Watkins in the Elphin. I believe that's an Australian-built car, alongside Trevor Griffiths in the Emeryson, built by Paul Emery, who raced in Formula One briefly in the 50s. Row 7, Alex Morton with his Condor, veteran of Formula Junior, alongside Chris Wilkes, who has the beautiful Deep Sanderson, number 40. Row 8, 45, Duncan Ross's Lotus, alongside the Kiev, the Welsh-built car of Gary Thomas. Row 9, Mark Woodhouse has been racing his Elva 100 for many, many years alongside John Hutchinson's Envoy, number 35. Row 10, 66, John Timoney in the Osper, and Andrea Guarino, the Italian, with his Elva 100 completing the top 20. Number 3, Justin Fleming's Lola, alongside Martin Shepherd's Italian-built Stanguellini on row 11. The 12th row, George Christodoulou in his BMC Mark II, and Peter Fenichel, another Stanguellini, completes the grid. A couple of cars that qualify but have withdrawn are 34 James Owen in his Gemini. He was trailered in at the end of qualifying with problems. We've lost Neil Hodges in his Gemini, and also Ian Rowley, who was a late entry on the programme, in his Lotus 22. They are non-starters. So it'll be a 20-minute race.
2:37.
This was the very first dedicated historic racing category, created in 1975, and the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association celebrating its half-century this year. Formula Junior may have only run from 1958 to 63, but many of the cars have been preserved all over the world. This was the original feeder series to Formula One, really. As they pull up to the grid, it's the orange Alexis of Stuart Roach who will start on pole position, alongside the blue and orange of Nick Carlton-Smith. He's at the wheel of the Lotus 20. Some front engine cars, we can see some rear engine. There's number 40, that's Chris Wilkes in the silver Deep Sanderson. A lovely looking car that one is. The Stanguellini's at the back, the very early Italian-built Formula Junior machines. The red machine is Justin Fleming, number 3. Right at the back, Peter Fenichel in his Stanguellini. They were powered by Fiat and Lancia engines in the early days. Stuart Roach on the pole, alongside Nick Carlton-Smith following the qualifying session this morning. Stuart Roach is 1.5 seconds quicker than anyone else. Nathan Metcalf on the second row in the Lotus 20, the red car. Then the Mallock U2 of Ray Mallock, most to fame as a touring car team boss in the 1990s, has run cars in many, many other series over the years, and a very quick racing driver himself. Time to go racing then here at Thruxton. The last couple of cars just being brought into line by the marshals at the back of the grid. An overcast but warm day here on the longest day of the year. And then the green flag will be waved by the marshals at the back, and we'll be underway for 20 minutes of single-seater racing. First of 16 races this weekend here at the Thruxton Retro Super Funk weekend. The 5-second board is held aloft by the marshals, then the revs rise, the red lights will come on, and when they go out we will be racing. The revs are up and away we go down towards Allard Corner for the first time. Looks like everybody has got away well, and they head up towards the right-hander at Allard, then the left flick at Green Corner, named after Andy Green, the world land speed record holder. Stuart Roach has taken the early lead from pole position. They head up to the complex then, also named after former land speed record holders. The right at Campbell, the left at Cobb, the right at Seagrave. They're sliding their way through. No wings on these cars to provide extra downforce. There's the Mallock U2 Mark II, so named because if you buy one, you too can go racing. Was the Mallock family's ethos. James Hicks is behind Ray Mallock there in the Caravelle Mark III. Real variety of little single-seaters out there making their way out into the country for the first time. The left at Noble, then the right-hander at Village, then it's on to Church Corner, the fastest corner in the UK. Quickest cars that race here at Thruxton, the British touring cars and so on, take that corner at around 140 miles an hour. Here they come towards it now. What a great shot this is as they charge their way around the back of the circuit and then on towards Woodham Hill with the new spectator banking on the left-hand side of the straight up towards the club chicane. Coming up Woodham Hill now into the chicane. The midfielders making their way through. Roach with the lead ahead of Nick Carlton-Smith. See a few cars sliding around here. One of them very sideways in there. Who was that going through? It's tricky to see the numbers on one or two of these machines, so apologies for any misidentified cars. There's number 38, which is Gary Thomas in the Welsh-built Kieft machine. And as they complete the opening lap, it's Stuart Roach leading by just under a second ahead of Nick Carlton-Smith. Nathan Metcalf is third in the Lotus, then Ray Mallock in fourth place ahead of the number 71 of James Hicks in this first of 16 races here at the Thruxton Retro 2025. Bit of place swapping there, the number 23, one of the front engine cars. That's the Condor of Adrian Russell, moving past, I think that was number 45, Duncan Ross, possibly. Nice little battle developing here. One of the front engine cars dropping back a little, the 33 of Chris Drake in the Terrier. He's won a fair few races dedicated to front engine cars, and some weekends they split the entry, the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association, into front and rear engine grids. It's the 140 there, sorry, of Keith Pickering, the Britannia, the car that was involved there. 167 Alan Schmidt with his Brabham in the Australian colours of green and gold, ahead of Chris Porritt, who we heard from earlier, long-time historic racer in a variety of divisions in the Lotus 18 bought from the USA. Formula Junior really did race all over the world in period. Midfielders making their way through then. Leaders have crossed the line. The gap has come down for our leaders. Half a second between Roach and Carlton Smith as the 150 of David Watkins in the Elfin goes through. Metcalf still third, then Mallock, Hicks, Russell and Pickering. Here are the leaders coming out of the complex. Number 12 is the orange Alexis. A little bit of a twitch there for Nick Carlton Smith, just caught his wheel on the curve as they came out of the complex, out towards the back of the circuits once again. The left at Noble, the right-hander is Goodwood, then onto Village and Church corner. Nathan Metcalf pushing hard, and Nick Carlton Smith has done the fastest lap, 128.183 for the Lotus 20. They drop down into Church corner. Great shot here as the cars charge their way through the fastest right-hander in the country, then on to the straight up towards Woodham Hill. Slight flick to the left and then on towards the club chicane. That's the new spectator back. There's a yellow flag waving at the chicane. Somebody has possibly come to grief there. We saw a yellow flag. There's a green flag there on the next marshal's post. So somebody has either gone off or come to a stop there. So no overtaking on the run at Woodham Hill at the moment. Leaders across the line. The first two have gone clear. Metcalf in third place. These three well ahead of the rest already. There's Chris Wilkes in the Deep Sanderson being chased by car number 2, which is Mark Woodhouse, who's been racing this Belver 100 for many decades now. They're battling for 15th place. I can tell you we've lost the number 33 of Chris Drake, the Terrier T4, into the pits. So it looks like his race is over. Maybe it was his car slowing that brought out the yellow flag briefly. Through Allard up towards the complex once again. The lead gap is 0.598 of a second. Stuart Roach has responded with the fastest lap of his own, 127.929. There's the 140 of Keith Pickering. That's the Britannia FJ ahead of 167 Alan Schmidt. They're battling for 7th place. Behind them is Chris Porritt. And then rounding out the top 10, number 8, which is Alex Morton in his front engine Condor S2. Still a long distance to go. We're only just over a quarter of a way into this 20-minute race for the historic Formula Juniors. 23 there, Adrian Russell in the Condor. You can see how upright he is out of his cockpit there. The late 50s design. Chasing the 71, that's James Hicks. These two battling for P5 at the moment. To the chicane they come. James Hicks gets the title line, the rear-engined number 71, the Caravelle ahead of the front-engined number 23 of Adrian Russell. Really do look like scaled down Formula 1 cars of the period, don't they? That was the intention. There's Michael Mallock going, Ray Mallock, sorry, going through. Seen Michael Mallock represent the family in their cars over the years as well. Chris Porritt starting to close in now on the Pickering and Schmidt battle. Here they come into the complex. Keith Pickering, that rather stubby little Britannia machine, being chased by Alan Schmidt's Brabham, the more sleek Australian built and design machine, built by, of course, three-time F1 world champion Sir Jack Brabham. He's going for the inside here as they come out of the complex, and he goes through. Alan Schmidt up into 6th position. 7th position, I should say. There's the battle for 5th and 6th ahead of them. Towards the back of the circuit once again, Chris Porritt closing these two down. Next in the order, it's Alex Morton in the Condor. And then we get back to David Watkins in the Elfin, number 150 next through. Still just under a second between the two leaders. Another fastest lap for Stuart Roach, 1:27.294. 5 laps completed, but the gap has come down that time. Roach and Carlton Smith, there's only just over a quarter of a second between them now, and that might be the reason they're in backmarker traffic. The 57 of George Christodoulou, the white car there, has been lapped, and one of the Stanguilinis has gone a lap down as well. It's the 37 of Martin Shepherd. Does look like a miniature Maserati, doesn't it, that Stanguilini? And now, never mind that, because Nick Carlton Smith in the blue and red, number 39, the Lotus 20, is attacking for the lead on the back of the Alexis of Stuart Roach. Backmarkers will be mindful that the leaders are catching them. The leaders will hope they won't get in the way. The excellent marshals here at Thruxton will show them the blue flag to warn them that the leaders are approaching. Here's one of the backmarkers now. I think that's Justin Fleming's Lola. He goes a lap down. Oh, and up on the curb there. Stuart Roach taking some curb on the inside of Church Corner. That's a brave move. They make their way up Woodham Hill for the 6th time. A couple of casualties so far. We lost Andrea Guarino on the second lap in the Elva 100. And as Carlton Smith dropped back there, yes, he ran wide coming into the chicane, sliding about there, so that's lost him a bit of ground. Stuart Roach able to pull away again. What's the gap as they cross the line? Yes, 1.3 seconds now. So Roach able to pull away again. Isn't it Carlton Smith having a bit of a handling issue there? I wonder. He looked much more loose through the chicane that time. Third place is still Metcalf. There he is, the number 171. Nathan Metcalf in his Lotus 20. And quite a long gap back to 4th place, who's about 12 seconds further back. That's Ray Mallock. There is the Mallock U2. He's just lapped the BMC of number 57, George Christodoulou. There's the number 3, the classic front engine shape. That's Justin Fleming's Lola Mark II. It's the Lola company, very famous in single-seaters and sports cars for many years. This is pretty much where the company started out. First entered Formula One in 1962. Coming up to half distance in our first race of the weekend here at Thruxton. 10 minutes gone, 10 to go. Or as Murray Walker would say, with half the race gone, there is half the race still to go. We still miss you, Murray. Here's Watkins in the 150. David Watkins being caught by I think that's the number 30 of Trevor Griffiths, the Emerson that's gone through. Yeah, Watkins is slowing down, I think. He's got a problem. Thought I saw a puff of smoke there as the 38 of Gary Thomas goes through. So it looks like David Watkins could be in trouble. Number 30, the Emerson, built by Paul Emery, the Australian-born driver who attempted to build a Formula One project around the same time, but it didn't work out, sadly. Paul Emery, also a builder of midget cars that raced on the short ovals as well. 140 being reeled in here. That's Keith Pickering by the 77 of Chris Porritt. We'll see him out in the Jochen Rindt trophy races as well, honouring the memory of the man who won the European Formula 2 round here at Thruxton 3 years in a row. Oh, the backmarker getting in the way there. A little bit of Pickering in the 140. He had to dodge going through Allard. That's one of the Stanguilinis being lapped. But they've managed to get through into the complex. That was Martin Shepherd. Pickering and Porritt have got through. That could have been disastrous if they'd been forced onto the grass. 8.5 minutes to go. Roach is pulling away now. He's 2.8 seconds clear of Carlton Smith at the front of the field. Nathan Metcalf still third, but he's nearly 7 seconds further back. There goes the Brabham of Alan Schmidt in 7th place ahead of these two, battling for 8th position. Alex Morton still rounding out the top 10. There he goes in the Condor, number 8. It's the Alexis that still leads the way. It's a front-engined Alexis raced by Duncan Robagliati, who's done so much behind the scenes for the preservation of these Formula Junior cars. Duncan not racing this weekend though. And the car he calls the Flying Carrots because of the orange Alexis livery. Number 8 there of Morton lapping the 37 of Martin Shepherd as they come up Woodham Hill. Into the chicane, the right, left, right. It's very easy to run wide and go straight across the tarmac runoff area there. That's very controlled by number 8, Alex Morton. Lead gap is up to 3.5 seconds now, so number 12, Stuart Roach, now dominating this race. He pulled away by nearly a second on that last lap. He's looking set for victory unless any gremlins should strike in the closing stages here. Various subclasses down the order as well. We'll pick up on the class winners at the end of the race. We won't get too technical with class details and so on this weekend because the Thruxton Retro Superfunk weekend intended to be a fun weekend of racing, so I won't get into my anorak mode too much this weekend and confuse you with too many details and statistics of the cars. The mantra we live by, of course, is motorsport should be fun. That's what we emphasise this weekend. There goes the leader. One of the back markers signalling Nick Carlton-Smith go to the right to lap me there. I think that was Mark Woodhouse in the Elva. Yeah, just ahead of Chris Wilkes in the deep Sanderson. The silver machine. It's the orange machine, number 12, Stuart Roach, who leads. Oh, a bit of understeer there. He goes wide coming out of the complex, just pushing a little bit too hard. Nick Carlton-Smith in second place, but they're separated by 4.3 seconds now. They're pulling away at the rate of about 3/4 of a second a lap. Stuart Roach, Metcalf still third. There's Mallock in 4th position. And then a gap back to 5th place, which is Adrian Russell, the 23. 2.5 seconds ahead. There is Russell in the front engine Condor. And there's 32. That's the Mallock U2 Mark II of Ray Mallock. Rather boxy looking machine. Mallock, of course, much more famous for their Clubman's sports car racers in more recent years. The RML team, Ray Mallock Limited, later became British touring car champions, of course. They built cars the likes of Vauxhall and Nissan in the super touring era. And there is that intriguing looking machine, but very effective was the Mallock U2. In his younger days, a certain Max Mosley was very successful in one of those. Mallock being reeled in here a little by the 23 of Adrian Russell in the Condor. The 2 front engine machines. The lead gap's come down just a little as well. I think Carlton-Smith took 0.6 of a second out of Stuart Roach on that last lap. 3.78 seconds in it now. Sliding his way through the chicane there, the number 71 of James Hicks in 6th position. And he's 4th in Class D2, the top 3 all in Class D2. That's for the quicker rear engine cars, the later machines. Variety of subclasses down the order organised by the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association. They're based on the engine types, the age of the cars, whether they're front or rear engined and so on. One car into the pit, so it's the Kiev. Number 38, Gary Thomas, has pulled up. So he's out of the race. Just 3 retirements so far, as we watch Chris Porritt attacking the 140 of Keith Pickering in the Britannia. So we lost Andrea Guarino early on in his Elva 100. Chris Drake pulled the Terrier T4 into the pits, and now they've lost Gary Thomas as well. There goes the Brabham of Alan Schmidt. He's leading Class E1. This is the main battle on track at the moment. This is for 8th place. It's for the lead of Class C2 as well. These 2 fighting for a class victory. Doesn't exactly look like Midsummer's Day, it has to be said, here at Thruxton, the summer solstice. It's a bit cloudy here. As Porritt moving up the outside into the chicane. Who's going to be later on the brakes here. Keith Pickering on the inside, Chris Porritt on the outside. Keith Pickering just about holds the place. They swing their way through the chicane. Porritt will try again on the run up into Allard. You can see it trackside as well, various car clubs with machinery on display here this weekend at this very special Thruxton Retro. You can see some, I think that's some Austin Healey's on the right there. Some Audi TTs as well, some more modern machinery. So the 2.5 minutes of this race to go then for the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association Championship, sponsored by Silverline Tools. Thanks to them for their support over many years. So the leader goes across the line. The gap is 3.7 seconds. There is Nick Carlton-Smith in second place. I don't think he's going to catch Stuart Roach here. Black and white flag being displayed, the driving standards flag for John Timoney, number 66 in the OSPA T3. That's for exceeding track limits. That'll be his second offence noted, so he gets the black and white warning flag as the leader, getting one of the back markers out of his way there. I think that's the number 150 of Watkins. We saw the Elfin slowing earlier on, lost a couple of spots. He's in 11th position. And I think he's actually gained those places back. Yes, so maybe it was a missed gear that dropped him behind number 30 of Trevor Griffiths. And of course Gary Thomas, the other car that got past him, has now dropped out. But, in terms of track limits, we mentioned there, your first offence is noted by the stewards. Then your second offence, you get a black and white flag. The third offence of exceeding track limits, you get a 5-second time penalty. Ray Mallock, a car built by his father Arthur, Major Arthur Mallock, as he was endowed from his military service. Real pioneer of club racing he was. The Mallock family have remained involved ever since. Stuart Roach coming through to start what will be his final lap with 50 seconds left on the clock. I don't think he's going to be caught here. Through Allard and Green for the final time. Second place man just getting through a couple of back markers. John Timoney, the car we mentioned, the OSPA T3 we saw being lapped there, number 66. He's running in 17th place. Oh, the second place man very wide there. I think he was concentrating on getting around Watkins in the 150 car, just overshot slightly going into Campbell Corner. Out of Seagrave towards Noble. Just over 4 seconds back. He's not going to catch Stuart Roach here. Stuart's going to be our first winner of the weekend here at the Thruxton Retro. Formula Junior cars have another race coming up tomorrow. Here he comes then, sliding it through the fastest part of the circuit past Justin Fleming, who's now 2 laps down in the Lola. On they go to Woodham Hill for the final time, and then into the chicane. It's going to be a first win of the weekend for Stuart Roach. He slides the car in, flings it into the chicane. Spectacular stuff from Stuart Roach in the Alexis Mark III. Up towards the checkered flag, and our first winner of the weekend at the Thruxton Retro Super Funk weekend is Stuart Roach in car number 12. Nick Carlton-Smith comes over in second. Separated in the end by 5.3 seconds. Slightly lonely race there for Nathan Metcalf. He's going to come over to complete the podium. All those cars running in Class D2. There's Metcalf through the red car. Nearly 14 seconds back on Nick Carlton-Smith. It should be Ray Mallock through in 4th position. Here he comes into the chicane. He's going to hold off Adrian Russell. I think they're the first of the front engine cars home. Running in Class B2. Mallock 4th, Russell 5th. Then a gap back to James Hicks, number 71. The Caravelle Mark III is in 6th position. Across the line he goes. And a gap back to Alan Schmidt in the Brabham BT6. And still these two at it. Keith Pickering in the Britannia. Chris Porritt is going to try and out-drag him in the Lotus out of the final 10. They're going to finish side by side. It's a photo finish for the class win. Who got that? Let's have a look at the timing screen. Porritt got it on the line by 5.032 of a second. Cracking race between those two, and Chris Porritt snatches the class win on the line in Class C2. Great stuff. Very entertaining racing indeed from the Formula Junior, sponsored by Silverline Tools. Big thanks to everyone at the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association. 20 of the 23 starters went the distance. We'll check out the result in just a few moments' time. If you want to follow the live timing from this weekend, you can do so at tsl-timing.com. tsl-timing.com. You can find all the live timing. There's that photo finish in Class C2 for 8th place overall. Chris Porritt taking the class win by 32 1,000ths of a second. Doesn't get much closer than that. Timed it perfectly out of the final chicane. Check out the results in a moment. Stuart Roach the winner then by 5.3 seconds over Nick Carlton-Smith, with Nathan Metcalf in third. All those cars in Class D2. Ray Mallock, the first front-engine car home in the Mallock U2, ahead of Adrian Russell. They're first and second in Class B2. James Hicks next, then Alan Schmidt, he wins Class E1. Chris Porritt beating Keith Pickering on the line to win Class C2. Further down the order, Class A for the early Italian engine cars, won by Martin Shepherd in the Stanguellini. So a very entertaining affair for the Formula Junior Historic Racing Association, sponsored by Silverline Tools, in their first race of the weekend here at the Thruxton Retro Superfunk weekend. Of course, we will be switching over fairly soon to our pay-per-view coverage, so we hope you can head over, if you're watching on YouTube, head over to the 247 TV website, 247.tv, and you can join us via our pay-per-view coverage for lots more racing here at Thruxton. Well, we can head down to Parc Fermé in the meantime with Ewan Dunlop to hear from our race winner.
Tuesday P down in Parc Fermé for the first time this weekend, and plenty of battles going on across all the different classes. Let's jump in with Nick Carlton-Smith, second place in qualifying, second in the race. I've got to say, Nick, this is my favourite livery of all of the junior Formula cars. This glistening red here, and glistening on track as well. How was that race for you?
Wow, it was absolutely fantastic fun. The track's slippery, got more slippery as the tyres go off. I just couldn't catch Stuart up, sadly. Just too quick for me. Nearly outbraked myself a couple of times to go a bit wide, but otherwise fantastic.
These cars being so closely matched, is there anything you can do between now and tomorrow to sort of close the gap?
I could probably grow a bigger pair. Some of the corners, they're so fast. I mean, wow. You're on literally four-wheel slide, opposite lock through the fastest bends. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever driven here. I've only done about 10 laps and then the race.
Oh, you were second in qualifying. You'd like this place, don't you?
So this is a fantastic circuit. I'll definitely come back. Absolutely brilliant fun. Thank you.
And track conditions, because I mean, it's meant to be 28 degrees today in sunshine. It's not the case. It started spitting about halfway through that race. How do you manage that?
It just really wasn't enough rain to worry about.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, just hits your visor, flies off immediately. Nothing showing on the road, so business as usual.
Fantastic.
Flat out.
And more of the same tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Cool. See you there. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Buddy.
Cheers.
Stuart, already spoken to him today. Oh, hello again. That all went to plan, didn't it?
Oh, wasn't too bad, was it?
Yeah, it's good.
I hope we put on a bit of a show for people as well, you know.
I mean, you built up a 3-second gap or 4 seconds. Were you in control of that because he just couldn't close it?
I was just driving as fast as I could, you know.
Okay.
I couldn't really see him in my mirrors, but it just takes one little mistake and they're back on you again. So it's just keep going as fast as you can.
And what about sort of navigating back markers and things?
Yeah, they're generally all right. You know, you just have to pick the moment on when to go past them, hope that they've seen you. So, yeah.
Perfect start to the weekend. Well done.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
buddy. Thanks a lot. Let's go and speak to third place with Nathan Metcalf. Nathan,
hello.
Come on in. Those guys were quite quick, weren't they? But on the podium still, well done.
Yeah, no, very happy with that. It's my first visit to Thruxton, so...
So many people saying that.
Well, us juniors, we haven't visited for a long time, and I only started racing last year, so it's a first at a lot of tracks for me. But no, it's been a great event, great fun. I mean, it's so fast, so fast. No, when I was going around in qualifying this morning, I was sort of having to say to myself, you know, this can be flat, mate. I'm
Yeah,
sure it can be flat. And then it was just having the stomach, shall we say, to do that. But no, it was great fun. A bit unfortunate I couldn't stick with the boys. We had a slight car problem about halfway round, and those two boys, I mean, they're very good at what they do. They've been doing juniors as long as I've been alive.
You've been racing, you say, 1 year in juniors or overall racing?
Overall, I've still got the novice cross on the back. That was my 6th race finish. No, the Lotus last year was lots of trouble, and usually it was serious, so it did live up to its name. But no, I only started racing last year. I'd had a test in my dad's got a Formula Junior, and I tested that and it went very well a couple of years ago, and I sort of got on my knees and begged, and something came up. So no, it's been great fun. The people here are just amazing. They've all been so supportive. I turned up to my first race not knowing how to get a car off the line, and last year's champion Andrew Hibbard, bless his heart, sat me down. I went, right, this is what you need to do, and it worked all right. We got a good start today. So it's been great fun, and thank you so much for having us.
Podium onwards and upwards. Congrats.
Indeed. Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
Buddy. Thanks a lot. I want to speak to particularly Chris Porritt. We've already had a chat with him in the 77. Here we are. Here he is, fantastic. Chris.
Hello.
What an incredible race.
That was brilliant fun, wasn't it?
This
man is just.
I mean,
legend,
that was at the death, wasn't it?
It was, right. It was absolutely on the line, yeah.
But, I mean, you were chasing you with like less than half a second for about 3-4 laps there. What got it done right at the final second?
It was a bit tighter through the chicane, and so I went wide on the second part of the chicane, knowing that I could try and get a run off the chicane down to the line, because the line's obviously a long way down the straight. So that's what did it. Yeah.
Oh, class win, well done.
Thank you.
It must be gutting, I'm sure, but lots of fun.
It was great. It was absolutely fantastic fun. You know, it was Chris's first time out in the junior, so to be right up there at the beginning is fantastic. Excellent race, hard work. Now I'm glad for the rain.
Yeah, it's cooling us all down now, isn't it? Well, we'll see you again tomorrow. Well done.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And if I can find him, because I know we've got a lunch break now, because we've got plenty of time. Ray Malek in the 32. Here we are. That is winner in Class B. Ray, class winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How was that race for you?
Oh, it was lovely. Always lovely to be back at Thruxton. My first race here was back in '69 in one of my dad's cars, a Formula Ford that time. And I've done a lot of Formula 2. I used to do most of the Easter Monday ones, and a lot of Formula Atlantic. But last time I was here was about 5 years ago in Formula Junior. But it's such a fabulous circuit. And,
quick maths, 56 years ago your first race here. What puts you in the Formula Junior? So this is a very unique this is the front engine, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, so this is my dad's car from 1960. He designed and built this. He raced it to some extent, but it was owned in period by his friend John Harwood. And always a super quick car in the corners, but back in the day, Dad never had the budget for a Cosworth engine, which other people were catching on to. So it was literally build your Ford Anglia engine in the garage. But we've now got a lovely Cosworth spec engine in here, and it's an absolute joy. So this is my favourite car to drive.
I must say, he didn't make much space for your feet in there, did he? It's very, very tight.
Well, my dad's more or less the same size, so it's designed around Malek's.
Yeah.
So 6'3", friendly, it's tight down there.
Congratulations, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The stories we're hearing this weekend are just fantastic. Now, just look to our right-hand side, the comparison in the cars here. The beautiful 32 of Ray Malek, and then actually my lucky number, the number 8, just to our left-hand side, John. It's just incredible. I said earlier, it's a bit like a sweet shop here at Thruxton. It's better than that. It is like Willy Wonka's car factory. We're going to go back to Dave for just a second, but me and John have been down in the paddock, the pit lane, across the entire festival spirit, getting up to grips with things and speaking to as many drivers with as many cars as we possibly can. Enjoy.
Thanks, Ewan. Great to hear from a few of our drivers down there in Parc Fermé after that cracking race for the Formula Juniors. That's just the first of 16 races across the course of the weekend. We've got 5 more races coming up this afternoon, including the big race, the Jochen Rindt Trophy. First of 2 races for a whole variety of single-seaters. Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4 2000, Formula Atlantic, all represented on a very varied and very big grid. Coming up at around 1:30. That's followed by Ferraris, the Super Performance Ferrari Club Classic Series. If you like your Ferrari 355s, 348s, 328s and so on, they'll all be out in good numbers there. Then we have our longest race of the weekend, the GT and Sports Car Cup for 1960s GT cars. It's a 90-minute pit stop race and then a 40-minute pit stop race, the Midland Classic Restorations Classic K with the Hawthorn Jaguars, Classic K4 cars built to Appendix K FIA regulations, 1960s sports cars again. And the Hawthorn Jaguars, their Mark 1 and Mark 2 Jaguar saloons in with them. It's a 40-minute pit stop race, and we close today with the Mighty Minis. If you've not seen them before, they will provide a real treat. Very close racing from the Rover Minis coming up a little bit later on. We are now into our lunch break though, so let's see who Ewan's been able to catch up with so far today.
Right, we've taken a small walk down the Formula Junior paddock, and I was just drawn to this silver bullet here, and I found Chris Wilkes, the owner. This is, in fact, the only version of this car in the world. It's the Deep Sanderson. Chris, tell us more about it.
Yeah, thank you. It is the only Deep Sanderson Formula Junior. You will find the Deep Sanderson badge on a couple of other cars. There's a mini-engined GT car, which is a bit of an odd thing, but this is the only Formula Junior Deep Sanderson. And Formula Junior in the period was the feeder formula for Grand Prix, for F1 racing. And the whole idea behind it, when it was created by Count Johnny Lirani in '58, was to create a formula to encourage new drivers, to bring new drivers into single-seat racing. And the original concept was you could only race in it if you had never won a championship before, and the cars had to be built using production parts. So production engine, production gearbox, in the early days, production suspension and brakes. And the result was you could get men in sheds building racing cars and going racing, which I have to say, that was basically what we have here. So a gentleman called Chris Lawrence was a bit of a racer during the 50s, you know, what that sort of post-war era of British racing drivers, and he decided he would build this. So what it is basically a Ford Anglia engine with a VW Beetle gearbox, Triumph TR3 brakes, and he built this tubular steel chassis, and of course this beautiful aluminium bodywork, which this car actually represented the mid-era of Formula Junior. So Formula Junior ran from 58 to 63, and like all racing cars in the 50s, they're all front-engine cars in those days. And then Lotus and Cooper entered the fray in 60, and of course they'd been playing around with motorcycle engine cars, which all had a unitary engine and gearbox in the back of the car. So when they moved into Formula Junior, of course naturally it put the engine in the back, and immediately outclassed all the front-engine cars. So that then became the mid-era of Formula Junior, from 1960 to 61, 62, when it was rear-engine, but they hadn't invented the disc brake. And then in 62, the disc brake came along, and so you had the final era, which was a disc brake car, rear-engined, electronic ignition, dry sump. And so it's a very interesting era. And of course, you know, in those 6 short years, that then moved racing cars into the format that we recognize today, which is rear-engined. And so Chris Lawrence, he actually found fame in 62 when he took a Morgan 4.4 to Le Mans and won the 2-litre class at Le Mans. You know, this was one of his creations in 1960. The president of the club of Formula Junior, he found this as a wreck in a shed somewhere.
I was about to ask, how did it come into your hands, Chris?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I was looking for a car to go racing, and I assumed I'd go into motor racing through the normal route, which is GTs, you know, MGs, that sort of thing. And I was cruising the ads and came across this, and it seemed to, you know, it just captured my imagination. It's gorgeous to look at, it's unique, and of course, therefore, it gets entries and invitations to races.
Now, when you're racing the only one-of-a-kind car in the world, around the fastest track in the UK here, is there an element of safety looking after it, or do you give it the full beans? What's going through your mind when you're taking it around the corners and being overtaken?
You know, the great thing about Formula Junior, and this is an advert for Formula Junior, is, you know, we're all very respectful of each other, because, you know, what safety is there in this car? There isn't. Yeah. I've got my fuel tank right alongside me. There's a thin skin of aluminium between me and the outside world. My feet are in front of the front wheels, you know. But, you know, if you think about that, then you shouldn't be racing. So you've got to trust the tech, you've got to trust others around you, which we do. We're all friends. Doesn't mean to say we don't all want to win. So when the visor's down, those red lights go out, you know, we're all going to win. But if there's 3 of you going into a corner and only 2 of you are going to come out, we'll all back out and try again, you know. So it's good. So, you know, it just captured my imagination, this car. And there was a couple down in the New Forest selling it. And you know, it's I've had a lot of fun with it in 17 years I've owned it.
Wow. Chris, this has been remarkable. Thank you so much for your insight. You'd get on great with Dave Goddard, I know that. Good luck in your racing. Catch up with you later.
Thank you very much indeed. That's great to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, let's go and find what else is going on here at the Thruxton Super Funk Retro Weekend. Okay, we are in the paddock for the Jochen Trophy, the highlight of today's racing at Thruxton Retro, and I found Jeff here in the 111. I found you, Jeff. I just fell in love with this car straight away. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
It's a Van Diemen 82, so it's 42 years old. I've had it for, I think, 7, maybe 8 years now. I totally rebuilt it a couple of winters back, then crashed it, as you do. And then, this is the first time I've been to Thruxton for 42 years. So,
but you've told me you've been here on some special occasions, haven't you?
I was here for the very first Formula 2 race, what Jochen won, as a spectator in 1968. Incredible. And then I raced against Ayrton Senna here, having his very first Formula 3 race.
Well, you raced against Ayrton Senna here?
You know, different levels here. But I was in the same race. I think there was 20 of us in the race. And he was having a one-off Formula 3 race before he won the championship in 83. Yeah. So in 1982, November, he was having his first race here, and I was in it with him.
That is incredible.
So, yes, been around a bit.
So why you bring? Have you got several cars? I imagine often do, or is this your only one?
This is my only one. This is expensive enough. So,
I mean, that looks pretty uncomfortable to get in, I must say.
For an old boy like me, I'm 71 now, knocking 72. It's a bit of a bugger getting in and out, especially after the race when you've done a full race. But once you're in there, it's lovely. It's comfortable. Yeah. You're strapped in. You feel quite at home in there.
It must feel just fantastic. Now, how did this come into your hands?
I decided to go racing again, and I was looking for Formula Fords, historic, which I thought were too expensive. I bought a little Ginetta sports car, which was totally unreliable. This came up at the right price, and I grabbed it. It wasn't this pretty, but it served me very well. It finished most of the races I've done. And then I say the other winter I stripped it and totally rebuilt it, and inevitably an accident after that. And up to that accident, I've done about 65 races in it, £22 worth of damage in 65 races. It can be done. Unfortunately, at Silverstone last October, someone spun off in front of me. I couldn't miss him. £2.5 grand. Front corner was ripped off it, but that's racing, I'm afraid. So from 22 grand over 65 races. Within a couple of races.
Did you tell me you'd done over 250 races in?
270, I think, in total. So in 1976, I was trying to get somewhere in those days, Formula Ford, the usual route through, and on a minimal budget, and very minimal budget. And then it turned to a race. I'd done race hire, East London Racing. I was at the time, Arrive and Drive. And then I got out. I got totally fed up with the sport, so I got out for about 20 odd years. Now I'm fortunately in a position I can have a bit of fun with an old historic race car. So here we are.
And Jeff, just finally, I can see behind us your van here. All the flags, family here. It's a lovely occasion, isn't it?
It's my wife Michelle, who's as good as gold. She don't mind me doing this. Mind she's got a very expensive horse, I will add, which is more expensive than this on a good day. No, just jazz it up a bit, makes it look a bit colourful. So no nationality, English. So it just makes it look pretty, you know.
Jeff, thank you for your time. Can't wait to see you out there. Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. Great,
cheers.
Good.
We are meeting some incredible people and some fantastic cars. We're just going to keep on going. Thruxton is like a car sweet shop today. Okay, I found the main man of the Jochen Rindt Trophy, the organiser and also the founder of the Classic Racing Car Club, Rob Manger. Rob, you're going to tell us all about the Jochen Rindt Trophy. All sort of motorsport enthusiasts will know the story of Jochen, but the trophy itself and the Classic Racing Club, how did you get involved and what does it mean to you, this competition today?
Well, Thruxton's my local circuit, and this was mainly established for the incredible performances that Jochen did at the late 60s. Unfortunately, as everybody knows, Jochen unfortunately lost his life. Then a group of people, including the British Automobile Racing Club, of course based here at Thruxton, and some of his teammates and team managers, they created the Jochen Rindt Trophy, which was held in his memory from 1971 all the way through to now. Mainly for Formula 2, then Formula 3000, periodically for Formula 3. There was a few years when they didn't have any races because single-seater racing sort of went to different places. But sporadically it was used. We had the idea back in 2021 that it's a fabulous, I think, one of the best trophies in motorsport. It's held here in the safe. Can we get it out and try and get some memories back? And that's exactly what we're doing today. We've got what we consider to be the best collection of cars that would have raced in period at Thruxton in late 60s, early 70s and the 80s.
Now, they've got the trophies behind you which are going to be given out today, but like you said, that special trophy, so it's solid silver, held in a safe. It's incredibly special, isn't it?
It is very, very special. Not just obviously the monetary value of it, but you could spend hours just looking at the names of the people that won. One of probably the most amazing things that ever happened to me was in the second year since we took it over. It was won by a young guy, very, very quick driver called Rob Wainwright, and he won it in a March, and that was the car that Ronnie Peterson won it in back in 1973, I think. So to actually, that car's won it twice, about 50 years apart. Extraordinary.
Now, talking about the cars, we've been walking around the paddock today. We're going to speak to some of the drivers in a shortly as well. There are some incredible eclectic machines here, and I understand that there's no real rules on, because it's not a championship, you can run the cars how they like. We're incredibly lucky, aren't we?
We are very, very lucky, and the guys have supported this. Some of them have done it every single year since we picked this up, and you know, through their contacts more and more people have come, and it's just become bigger and bigger. But the ethos is that if a car raced here, or in these kind of races in Europe, or even in America and Canada, like a couple of the cars we have here today, we will try and find a space for them. There are classes, so you know, there's differences in pace, etc. But all the racing is actually very, very competitive. It's not just a parade. They race with respect, obviously, we have to, especially because of the value of some of these cars. But it is a proper race, and just to see and hear them is amazing. And one thing that I never appreciated until this morning, chatting to one of the lovely ladies who runs the pit lane, thank you all the marshals, is the fact that she loves it because she suddenly put it out. They are all different shapes and sizes.
It's bizarre almost walking down the pit lane. Now, also tell us about the Classic Racing Car Club. You're a founder of that, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, literally. We only put that together just to be able to facilitate the running of the Jochen Rindt Trophy.
Wow.
Because we thought if we created something and just got a few people involved, there's no cost to join, but it's just to get some like-minded people together, and it just gives it a little bit more depth and kudos. People might sort of take us seriously, and as you can see, thankfully it's worked. Then they said, well, can we maybe go somewhere else, you know, and take this sort of around the country? So last year was our first what we called away day. We went to Brands Hatch Indy, covered by BARC Live TV, which was amazing. So that's what the Classic Formula Libre is here, where we open the regulations even further, just to try and get as many people involved as we can.
Wonderful to hear from the organiser of the Classic Racing Car Club and the organiser of the Jochen Rindt Trophy there, Rob Manger. Cars on parade in our lunch break at the moment. We've got just about everything you could want out there. We've got everything from 2CVs to Corvettes, Austin Healey's, Lotuses, TVRs, even a Bedford CF camper van out there. Look at that. So, racing coming up this afternoon then. We kick off again at around 1:30 with our first Jochen Rindt Trophy race of the day, once this parade comes to an end. But our YouTube coverage is now going to come to an end. We're going to switch to our pay-per-view coverage. If you want to continue viewing, big thanks if you've joined us on YouTube for our preview of the Thruxton Retro Weekend. If you want to continue viewing, then head over to 247.tv and join us on the pay-per-view stream very shortly for 5 more races this afternoon and 10 more coming up tomorrow as well.